That was excellent, Anthony. So many things covered because it is an incredibly complicated process, and you covered a lot there. There's a reason that we have hundreds of hours of content in the Inner Circle as part of the college level course. Now, what I want to do is walk through one of the products that you had mentioned. Let's talk about the Cat Tower. And what we're going to do is we're going to run a dive, and I'm going to show how we could go about doing that. So basically, we're going to walk through now how we would do an evaluation of this product. How much money do we need? How risky is it? How good are the competitors? How are they getting their sales? And so you can really get a good idea of how you would evaluate a product. Now, keep in mind that you will probably need to do this for hundreds of products to find a few good ones. We recommend the more that you do evaluations and scorecards, the more likely you are to find a good product that's a little bit lower risk that fits your budget. That just makes sense. It's a numbers game. So don't do it 3 times on 3 products, fall in love with one of the ideas and force it, right? You have to make sure that you are just allowing the data to make the decisions for you. Now, one of the things you can do is when you do a search, you're not 100% sure that you're searching the correct or the biggest keyword, but that's okay because at Data Dive, we created an algorithm where if you choose the best seller, we're going to go and look for the other 15 or more best sellers of a similar type of product. So what I'm looking for is sometimes Amazon will tell you how many units something is moving. I don't really see it. Sometimes they'll put it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Data Dive's dive box. And this is going to evaluate all of the competitors that you see on this first page. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to load page 2. I really want to understand, what are these different competitors that are here? And if I sort by sales after it gets done loading, this seller here, Sheen 3-layer and Newest Cat Tree by Unique. These are the 2 biggest sellers. They're selling 7,300 units per month and 6,300 units per month. $294,000 per month in revenue and $250,000 per month in revenue. Now, you can imagine in order to do this product, it's immediately going to be a very expensive product for you to do. The total revenue just from the first 2 pages is over $8 million a month. That's pretty high. So, and the median selling price is $49. So even if we're landing this product at 1/4 of that, right? Around $12, $13, $14. You're in a position where if I want to sell even 3,000 units, I'm looking at over $30,000 per month in inventory cost. Now, that's without marketing, and that's not taking into consideration how many months it's going to take me for my inventory to get here once I order it. So I need to order more than a month of inventory at least to start as well. So if we go back to that matrix that Anthony showed earlier, this is a $150,000 or more product, probably even more. So immediately, if I only have $20,000, I can disqualify this one and not move forward. But I still want to look at it and understand that's a lot of sales. And it's a pretty even distribution of sales, which tells me that it's probably going to be more competitive also. But I want to verify that with more data, right? So what I'm going to do is there are several ways to run a dive. One of them is that you can use the tray button. So I can take all of these cat towers. This is one that is a window still bolster. I like this product. This is pretty neat. I'm not going to target that one though. And I just want to make sure that all of these are pretty relevant. And then I can just add them to the tray. By adding them to the tray, I'm saving them for later. and I can go look at multiple other keywords. I can look at subcategories, right? And so I end up with this search. Now I'm relying on this one keyword to do this. That's why I don't necessarily like to do this unless I'm going to spend a lot of time. But if I look for the Shin or the other bestseller, where did they go? Where is that bestseller? Let's say the 7,500 reviews. This guy's probably pretty good. I'm going to use Niche Dive. And then Niche Dive, what it's going to do is, again, search multiple subcategories, search multiple keywords, and we wrote an algorithm in Data Dive to evaluate how closely related all of the competitors that we pull together for you are to the initial competitor that you did the niche dive with. And so that's called a fit score. Now that fit score is based on the subcategory, where the product shows up in different search results, so different keywords, the keywords and the way that the listing is written. So it's a combination of multiple different things. And what you're seeing here is that if I'm sorted by sales, I want to make sure that, so I default sorted by sales, it selected a lot of these bestsellers. But if I sort by fit score, you can see that it automatically chose the top 15. And you've got fit scores of 100 being the one that we started with and 90 and down. And I can just kind of zoom over and make sure that all of these are in fact relevant to the type of product that I'm looking for. And they are. So I'm going to keep these. But what I want to do is I do want to make sure that I have fast-moving products as competitors. The reason being is because if someone's really good at Amazon, I want to get their data. Now, this is massive. It left it out. It put a lower fit score maybe because of the price point, but it sells a lot and at $100. So I'm going to add it back in. And this is a 68-inch one. This is pretty big. And I think that that's enough. So we've got quite a few. I like to have at least 15. And there are a lot of good sellers here. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to put dive. Now, when I put dive, Data Dive is going to go in and they're going to find all of the keywords that each of these individual 18 competitors are ranked on. So they could be on page 7, they could be on page 1, but it doesn't matter if they are indexed. And that's what indexing means, is that they are somewhere in the search results on that keyword. Then we are going to find it. But then we're going to take the thousands and tens of thousands of keywords that we find that way, and we're going to create what we call a keyword cloud. Now, that in that keyword cloud, the majority of those keywords are trash because none of the sellers that we're looking at are on the first 2 pages. They are going to be page 3, 4, 5, and beyond. And no one's making sales from those keywords. So we don't want to worry about those keywords. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw those in the trash, and then we're going to divide the remaining keywords into 3 buckets. Now, those 3 buckets are going to be your master keyword list, your residue keywords, and your outlier keywords. And I'm going to explain what those are in a minute. I'm in the wrong account, so I apologize for that. That's my fault. As far as like looking at the overview and immediately knowing that this might be too competitive, this is one of those situations. So let me explain what we're seeing here with this master keyword list. We've got all of the 18 competitors across the top here. And if you scroll over, you can see the rest of them. And it's defaulted by sales. But what's interesting is if you were one of these sellers, so let's say you're this guy, you can pin this over to the left. And now you're over here, so you can compare what you're doing versus the best sellers and quickly be able to evaluate it. Now, remember, we have 3 buckets of keywords. The first is this master keyword list. We have over 500 keywords here, which is fantastic. That means that there are over 500 keywords with at least 450 search volume and at least 30% relevancy. And we gauge relevancy based on the number of these competitors, the percentage of these competitors that are ranked on the first page for that keyword. Very easy logic here. that the more competitors that are similar, that are on the first page of a keyword, the more relevant that keyword is to that product, right? So we base our relevancy score on that. Now, if we were to go and look at the overview, in the overview, we can see a Google trend here, but the competitor's search volume strength, so the number of competitors that are ranked on at least 80% of the search volume, is 11. That's extremely high considering how much search volume is here. So this is already insanely competitive from an SEO perspective, because what we're looking for is we're looking for products that we can win in several different ways. One is going to be from an SEO perspective, because a lot of the sellers aren't very good at ranking for a lot of the different types of keywords and routes. We're going to look for opportunities to win from a product design perspective or product value perspective. Looks like there's a wide range of types of products here, different heights, different styles. I don't know that I can get into the cat tower design niche and outdo some of these guys that have been doing it a long time, right? So this one would be one of those products where I can quickly say I'm probably not going to move forward with it, but we're still going to go through the process of scoring it and talking about the details and why. Now, another thing I'm seeing is that if we were to look at the root keywords, and we're going to talk about that, we have cat tree, right, is a main keyword. So we call this a relevant root. In other words, cat is used 457 times in those 500 keywords and 3 million search volume. But I'm not going to search for this product. If I search just cat on Amazon, my product probably isn't likely to come up. So I use that litmus test to determine whether it's a relevant route. Cat tree, very relevant to what I'm selling. 252 keywords with 2 million search volume. Very, very cool. Now, cat tower is another route. 88 keywords, 595,000. Significantly less, but still a lot of search volume. Now, indoor cat, not relevant. Tree tower, cat tree tower. There we go. So cat tree tower is very interesting. And that's a combination of those two other routes. That's also 33 keywords with 200,000 search volume. Cat tree indoor, cat tree indoor cat. That's cat twice in there, but there's still 11 keywords that have that. And I'm kind of selecting them just so I can visually quickly tell how many relevant routes there are. And then this is really just a gauge to see what is the search volume distribution amongst these extra ones versus these top two. Because that's a question we're going to ask later to determine the risk of this product. We want to see a nice distribution of different ways people are calling the product, and we don't want it to all be skewed towards one or maybe even two routes. Cat condo is another cool way to call this product. 16 keywords, 85,000 search volume. And let's see, that'll be enough for now. But if I come back over here to the master keyword list, one of the first things I'm looking to do after I kind of evaluate the routes, I look at the overview, and I'll point out one more thing in the overview that's pretty cool. Based on the keyword you use to bring in the master keyword list and create it, we can pull Google Trends and Amazon search volume trends. So what we're seeing here is that it's actually trending up over the last 5 years. Now that's pretty cool that this product is growing or expanding. We're also going to ask about that to evaluate the risk. We don't want to necessarily be moving into a product that's dying in popularity or a shrinking market. We're looking for opportunities that are expanding. So it's good to see that overall you have some trends in the right direction here. And if we look back again at the master keyword list, what I'm looking to do is see why are certain sellers winning and getting more sales than other sellers. So if this guy has 73,000 search volume or 7,300 sales per month, and this guy has 6,300 sales per month, why is he getting an additional 1,000 sales per month? Well, what we see here is that he's got 18 keywords and 500,000 search volume in the outliers. So even though he's on 96% of the search volume on page one of these 500 keywords on the master keyword list, and he's on 95%, slightly more, it's not enough to warrant an extra 1,000 sales a month, but this extra 200,000 search volume in the outliers is. So what are those outlier keywords? And I can quickly find that out. So if I just go over here and I sort by where he's winning, which keywords is he ranked well for? You see cat condo outdoor. He's got 2,000 search volume. Cat house indoor. So cat house being another route here. Now these are super relevant to what we're selling, but what makes one good for outdoor versus indoor? I don't know, right? We would have to look at that, because if this is carpeted, you don't want it outdoor. It's going to get gross pretty quickly. Maybe it's not truly for outdoor, which is why he's number 5. We can go look at that. But cat house indoor is definitely relevant. What's also interesting is that this guy's winning with just one variation, and these guys have a lot more than that, right? 4, 9, 26, 10, 3, 24, different sizes, colors, shapes. I like to look at the variations because it also lets me know, can I compete? In order to compete, how many variations do I need to launch? Because if I land on a listing, if a buyer lands on a listing with just one option, if it's not exactly what they're looking for, or they haven't satisfied the psychological need to shop, they're going to bounce and go look for more options. But if I have a lot of options on my page, then they're going to just probably choose between one of the ones I give them, right, when they click in. So it increases your conversion rate significantly when you launch with a lot of variations. Now, I can see here that there's a cat house, 100,000 search volume they're ranked well for, but there are a lot of keywords. So what I would do is I would actually move these over, and then there's the Spanish term as well. So camas para gatos, so houses for cats. That's my English. My Spanish is pretty rough, but I live in Miami, so I had to learn how to speak it a little bit. And then accessories for cats. This is pretty generic. I'm not going to add it over. Again, cat accessories for indoor cats. If I'm going to add this one, I can add the Spanish. So I'm adding these over. Now, kitten house might be a smaller version. Again, a lot of the reason that these are outlier keywords is because they don't have a lot of relevancy, meaning a lot of these competitors are not ranked for them. So why did this Chinese seller, they're from China, why were they able to realize that there's a good amount of search volume in Spanish terms, but the other ones didn't? They didn't write these Spanish terms into their listing or into the back end, and so they haven't done as good of a job. Now, some of these American sellers here, they've done a good job with a lot of these same terms as well. As a matter of fact, this accessories para gatos, this guy's number 1, right? This best pet, they're number 1 for the Spanish term, so that's really interesting. Now, again, they've got a $20 version here, but they've got 10 variations. So there's a really advanced training that we talk to Inner Circle members around how to create variations that are going to maximize your profits. And a lot of times you're going to want a much cheaper version to get clicks, to get people into your listing, and then upsell them into additional bundles, values, colors, styles that might be a little bit more expensive. And then that's going to help increase the overall profitability. So having just one cheap version and only one option, remember the conversion rate's going to be lower even if it's cheaper, but you're also missing out on the possibility of upselling them to other styles. And just curious to look at this, we've got a 54-inch style for $20. We've got a 70-inch style, which is significantly higher. And I imagine that they're selling this in some sort of kit that needs to be built and put together. 54 inches is going to be a little over 4.5 feet. So, you can kind of imagine if this whole thing is 4.5 feet, how small these boxes are. It's surrounded by carpet, but I imagine it comes collapsed in a box and you have to build it all. So the shipping and logistics is pretty good. Now, that's another way that I like to have an advantage, is to find a way to repackage the product to save some costs. So I will look at maybe reducing, the accessories or cutting out an edge. Sometimes I'll even add a divider, and instead of one long piece, I'll have the factory create a joint there and then ship it as 2 pieces with the joint so that I can reduce the overall size of the box. That's a really great way to reduce the fulfillment fees and also the shipping fees into and out of Amazon. So it's good to see. Now, this other guy is also really, really good. 300,000 search volume on Outliers. What is he winning on? And he's got small cat tree, short cat tree, cat stuff, a little generic. Cat ladder for indoor cats. That's interesting. Kitten house, again with the kitten root. Cat hammock. Cat hammock is very different. That's another type of product. So what I would guess is that maybe this guy has maybe a ladder and a hammock, because he's okay on some of these hammock keywords. So maybe he's got a separate, smaller style. Or, theirs includes a hammock. So by including the hammock, they get those hammock keywords, which is pretty cool as well. Now, you'll notice that this guy didn't put any cats in his main image. I imagine that might hurt the conversion rate, but he's selling really well as it is. So maybe he's doing okay. And his cheapest version is $39.95. Now, this is kind of what I do to evaluate. I go through and I look at these additional keywords. What I'm trying to do is make the story make sense. I have to answer that question in my mind. How are the current sellers getting their sales? And if I can answer that question and really understand the niche, then I can really understand, is there an opportunity for me to do it better? What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What does the niche look like? What does the demand look like? Because you have to follow the number one rule on Amazon. You can't create demand on Amazon. Amazon is a search engine. It's made up of all of these keywords with all of these monthly searches already. You have to play in that environment, and you have to understand what those searches result in. So, people put an input in a search keyword or a search term. What is the output? Who's getting the sales? What are they looking for when they put that in? Now, we have the product scorecard here, and Anthony kind of showed the score of a product from one of our members, Arnav, who has launched a few products since joining last year, and he's doing really, really well. We do have a very high success rate with our students and our members in the Inner Circle because we walk you through this data-based approach. And what we're going to do is we're going to answer some of these questions. Now, we saw the number of keyword roots was more than 4, right? But it wasn't 7. So we're going to put 4 or more, and that's a positive thing. Remember, we want a wide distribution of roots. We saw the distribution of roots search volume amongst the top 2. It was really concentrated towards the top. So if I come back over here to the roots, if you look at it, these top 2 have a combined search volume of 2.2 and 6, so about 2.8 million searches between these top 2. The next one's only 200,000, right? So less than 10%. And if I combine these other 2, 400,000, so I'd say that over 80% of the search volume is in the top 2. So it's this one, and that's a negative. You're losing value because of that. You want to see a distribution of that search volume amongst all those different routes. And remember, we even found houses, we found all these other things, but it's really concentrated down here. So the number of relevant keywords with more than 450 search volume, this is from the master keyword list, it was more than 100. That's a positive thing. So from a traffic distribution standpoint, we're looking at a positive score so far. Now,
Brandon, can I just jump in for 1 second real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
If you go to the this is a little helpful hack that not a lot of people know inside a Data Dive. We get a lot of questions about the distribution of root search volume. If you go to your tab inside a Data Dive and you have the toggles selected for your top 2 routes, so just uncheck everything from the bottom down. Can I share my screen really quick? So see here, I have cat tree and cat tower selected, and it's showing me that this makes up, and this is a slightly different niche. I did this one months ago, office hours, but it's showing me that these top 2 routes make up 77% of the search volume. That's a little hack, so you don't have to do the napkin math. It makes it a little bit easier.
Right, I found it as well. So 85% filtered by 2 routes. And so it's the 85%. of the search volume. So that's really good to know. Is that what you were pointing out?
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So that actually is higher. It is. So I guessed it was a little over 80%, but it is actually 85%, not quite 90, which would be a big killer. But that is good that you can quickly find that. So if you just select the top 2 relevant routes, and then you can find the number right here to quickly answer that question. That's a great time saver and hack. I was kind of just doing the napkin math there, and that's so much faster. So the profitability is one where we would probably go to Alibaba.com and quickly try to find a cost on this product. So if I were to go to Alibaba.com and search for cat tower, I can get some costs pretty quickly, and you can see that the prices range depending on the size of the tower, from $20 to $40. Also, how many units you order really matters. This would be really, really tough to buy for 20 and then sell for 40. That'd be impossible. This is going to be big and bulky to ship. So what we need to do is figure out, and some of these are the $100 ones that we were seeing, right? Some pretty higher end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here to the MKL. Let me look at the average price point beyond these first few sellers. We're at 40, 40, 40, 30, 20. Remember, they had that $20 version. And 100. So like we jump into 100 for this very complicated cat condo more than anything. And then you jump to 45, 60. The $60 one looks more along the lines of what you're seeing for that $20 price point. But, this is also very similar. So these guys are selling at a very low margin. Now, these might be smaller than these other ones. So what is the cheapest we can kind of find just to kind of do our math? And this has the hanger. This is in that 17 range. We have a whole bunch of styles here ranging from $6 and up. So this is a great way for us to kind of get an idea of these different styles that they sell. And they've got everything from just the initial play toy and scratching post to the big towers. And let me see. Color 22. Color 28. I'm not necessarily worried about the color. That's a bigger one. So that one has underneath it the hammock like we saw. So I'm curious what the cost on style number 33 might be. Huh. 5 pieces. There we go. So $23 on this one. $29. Really, really tight margin is what I'm seeing. I mean, honestly, like, I'm wondering how some of these guys can sell at the $40 price point. They must be bringing this in for a lot less than it's showing me. So what I would be giving this product is the ROI on this is going to be under 40%. It's going to be really, really detrimental. This is probably should be like minus 250 in a deal killer when you have an ROI this low. You wouldn't really want to do a product for that. Now, the product life cycle is interesting because the question here is this a fad? Well, it's a growing market, but can you quickly be disrupted by additional designs and value? That's a possibility. I think that people will use these for their cats, and people love their cats for more than 5 years, but I really don't think you're going to be able to sustain from a design perspective for that long. So I'm going to put more than 25 months, but not more than 5 years. Now, the potential is where you can potentially save costs. Can you save costs on new packaging? Now, I imagine that with the sophistication of this niche and how advanced it already is, I'm not going to be able to really save on making it more efficient. I can tell already by the price point they're selling at that they are shipping this stuff as efficient as possible. So I'm going to say it's not possible. But that's not true for most. Like if you do find a way where you can repackage the product, then that's a positive thing, right? Can you save on fulfillment costs? I don't think so. Can you realistically get a utility patent? No. Can you get a design patent? Maybe, but it's not going to really help, right? Because design patents are very easy to get around. If you design yours with like a platform here and another one here, and like your cage here and a hammock, someone all they need to do is kind of make their platform on the other side a little bit higher or lower, and the hammock, section a little bit different, and they get around it. Design patents aren't always a great protection and can sometimes just be a distraction. So I would get it launched and then try to create a moat of intellectual property and protect it. So can you redesign the product and add desired features? Yeah, it's possible, but I'm not 100% sure. I really need to do more research. Like, is the hammock good? And then the outlier thing good? Scratching posts, right? Like, what are people searching for here that I can kind of have an advantage on? I don't know enough yet, so I'm just going to put 0 for now. There are at least X sellers doing the same design I plan on selling. I don't think too many, right? But I haven't decided on the design yet. And I have tested the design against the top 3 sellers. I haven't. I don't know my design yet, so I have not tested. Now, what's interesting is if I decide to do this product, and I'm going to walk through the process. Let me get that started, as a matter of fact. I'm going to ask the AI to evaluate these 10 best sellers and come back and tell me how to potentially make the product better. And that takes a few minutes, so I want to get that started. But let's say that the AI comes back and gives me really clear direction on designing this product better. Then I go into Midjourney, and I decide that I'm going to design the product with AI to incorporate those changes. Now, I might ask at that point a real audience whether they truly want that feature that the AI guessed they would want, because we need to validate that hypothesis. So our process really is we create a score. If the score is good and we're happy to move forward, we talk to the AI. We ask the AI how to make a better product. Then we ask an audience whether that's really something they really want. If the AI comes back and gives us ideas, then we formulate a hypothesis on how to make a better product. And then we go and we ask a real audience if that's true. And if that's true, then we go back to AI and we design it. So we use Midjourney, and we have a whole masterclass that we just did a couple weeks ago on using AI to design products. So I highly recommend you watch that. All of those masterclasses and all the modules are part of the Inner Circle. Now, so I'm not really going to know yet whether I should do that, but I'm going to move forward here. Now, I have competitiveness here, but I'll say one more thing about that. Once I get that main image done from Midjourney and like the design, then I create a main image that's similar to my competitors with a little bit of Photoshop work. And then I go ask the audience again which one you'd rather have. Now, the formula for success is going to be that I've checked the box of winning with the scorecard. I've checked the box with winning from a design perspective, from an SEO perspective, and a real audience has given me the go-ahead that they are more likely to click on and buy my product before I even order it from the factory. So I have as little skin in the game before I validate all of these different processes or things around this product. And that's what we're trying to teach you, is that we don't move forward unless the data in DataDive tells us to move forward. Now, the final section is competitiveness. So if we go back and look at this, how many reviews do these guys have? And if we go and we look at the reviews, the rating, we've got 6,400, 4,600. So over 1,000, over 1,000, 34,000, 14,000, 9,000. 1,000's a lot, by the way, and over 10,000 is a ton. So of the top 10 sellers, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 8 sellers with more than 1,000 reviews. So more than 7 of the top 10 competitors have more than 1,000 reviews. That's bad. It's going to be tough to compete there. They're fully entrenched. They've got a ton of feedback and reviews, and we're entering the market with 0. Like we're gonna sign up for Amazon's Vine program. We're gonna give away a few products to some Vine buyers from Amazon. They're gonna leave us honest reviews, and we're gonna start there with 5, 10, 15 reviews over the first couple weeks. But we've got to be selling from day one, and that's really tough to do when you only have a few reviews versus a few thousand reviews. So I'm not always that worried about that if the other boxes are checked. My design is significantly better, my price point, my advantage, my SEO, then I'm okay going up against these reviews. So this isn't a full deal killer, but it's not great. Now, from an Amazon SEO perspective, more than the top 10 competitors are on the first page of at least 60%. We saw how many. There were 11 competitors that were on more than 80% of the search volume. This is only asking 60. So if we come back over here to the overview, that's the orange and the red. There's 12 competitors currently that we would consider strong or very strong. And that's really a deal breaker. That's a huge negative score. So the average price point is between $16 and $49. That's a neutral product for us. We don't want to sell anything too cheap so you get negative points. And if you can sell something more expensive, then it's positive points because it creates a barrier to entry. You're in a situation where less people are willing to enter that market. So we consider that a positive thing. So how many are selling through Amazon? 1P means that they're wholesaling to Amazon. And if we come over here, it'll tell you what the country of origin is or Amazon. So 1 is Amazon, 2 is Amazon, 3, 4, 5 of the top 18. So at least 5 of the top competitors are bought and sold by Amazon. So that's a negative. Amazon, especially with larger products, will cut corners and not pay the same amount that you and I pay for fulfillment. And I know that because I've seen products that I've been evaluating where I have found the exact factory that Amazon is using, right? I know the price that Amazon is paying for the product. Might be $13, $15, $20 for the product. But they're selling it at a price point that once you subtract the fulfillment fees, it leaves less than $10 for profit and the cost of the product. It's impossible, right? That they are charging themselves the same amount of fulfillment fees. Now, this is years ago, and maybe it's different, but very often you'll see with large, bulky items that they are selling at what would be such a small margin that they have to be charging themselves differently on the fulfillment fees. So visual content, more than 5 of the top 10 competitors have great images. So what's interesting is we have a section here in DataDive to evaluate how good the sellers are with content and imagery. And again, you can pull up their sales over time. You can kind of see if there's any dead times. And what we're seeing here, if I just collapse this, and here's the variations button. You see this? We can see how many variations there are. But if I just hit this button right here, these 2 arrows, it collapses it, and I can see how many of them, I'll have really good images. And these top 2 sellers are not very good, honestly, because all I'm seeing is like a lifestyle image in the top 2 spots. What you typically want is the value or the benefit to the buyer as your second image. So what is the main pain point someone wants to solve by buying your product? You want to outline that in a very, very clear way in your second image. And you're just seeing lifestyle. This one is not. It says Cat Tree Tower, cat condos. And if I click on it, let me see. So seesaw scratching posts, cat playhouse, and rest place. So it has a few benefits because it has for indoor cats. It's very quickly to understand what it is. I mean, it's obvious what it is from the image. I don't know if you need this, but it has width and it has the seesaw scratching pads. I don't know what seesaw scratching pads are, but what's interesting and what I can do is I can search the entire cloud. Remember we talked about a keyword cloud? I'm really interested to see how many people are using this keyword. Only one in the residue bucket. We have 1,200 search terms here, and we have seesaw cat tree. So that's not a lot, but what about scratch? Now, scratch is huge. Master keyword list, we have 39 keywords with scratch. So cat tower with scratching posts, cat tower with scratching posts, and this one says large cats. 51,000 searches a month for cat tower with scratching posts. That's significant. 3,000 for cat tree with scratching posts, cat scratching tower. If we look at outliers, we've got cat scratching post tall with 5,000, but cat scratching post by itself. Now, that is a different product altogether. Is just a cat scratching post. That's what these are. So what's interesting is like this one has it built in here, but you're seeing that it's a completely different product. And then you have sponsored related to it. So I wouldn't add this as a target, this plain one, but you're looking for the ones that have tower or condo with scratching posts, right? Those are more relevant. So we have to understand the relevancy of the keyword, not just from the number that's put here, but also when someone searches for a specific like search term, what type of product are they looking for? What is the buyer intent of the product towards the product that I'm selling? That's really important to value those keywords very highly because we want to target them within our listing, the way we write our listing, and also with our ads. So really interesting that scratching posts have a ton of keywords, 167 here in outliers as well, or in residue as well. Cat scratching posts with bed, cat scratch house. So I think that these are more relevant and I could even move these over, right? So what I'm doing is by curating the master keyword list, I'm removing keywords that I can't make sales on, branded search terms, not relevant, different material types, different styles, and I'm adding in the ones I think I can. And what that's going to do is it's going to change the dynamic of the data to let me know how competitive it really is based on the product that I'm looking at doing. And it's still insanely competitive with this product. So the bottom line is don't do this product. It's going to be very, very expensive to do it. But again, we're looking here and then we're going to answer these questions. So Google Trends are up. That's a positive. Visual content, I would say more than 5 have A+ content. So if I scroll down on their listing, we've got A+ visual content, which really helps. And A+ visual content. And with a highly competitive niche like this, I imagine everyone does. So when I answer the question, I'm going to say more than 5. Seasonality. So is this specific to a specific holiday or non-Q4 holiday? I don't think so, right? Is this giftable? Do people give gifts to their cats or to their pets for the holidays? Sure, right? So the best way to look here would be in deep dive, where we were. So if we look in deep dive here and we expand it and we look at the sales here for the last amount of time, you see some spikes throughout the year in sales. So we've got here in the summer months, we've got some spikes. Now, is it because people have outdoor cats and it's hot and they want them in, they bring them inside? I don't know. I don't know why they would do that. Why it spikes during certain times. Sales went down here in the spring. And then again in the summer, Again, going back to school. So that one's not consistent. I'm not seeing a consistent annual spike. That's a newer listing. Yeah. So again, for some reason you get a spring spike, likely because it gets hot is what I'm guessing. And then here is a bump. There is a bump here for Q4 for this product. So it looks like they've made more sales throughout the holiday season. They went from, 400 sales a month to 600 or 700 sales a month at the peak. So there is a small holiday bump, but it's not really. I think it's a year-round product. So it can be sold all year round, neutral. We actually consider it more risky to sell a seasonal product, or especially a highly product that's tied to a holiday, because you have a very small window to sell your inventory, and you have to be really good at timing your inventory arriving, how you launch it, your sales, making sure you sell out of inventory or liquidate your excess inventory before the market is completely dead. So if you're selling a 4th of July product, about the 1st or 2nd of July, sales go way down to almost nothing because people can no longer get your product in Prime. And so if you have an extra 200 units sitting there, it's going to cost you a fortune to leave it sitting at Amazon and pay storage fees. You pay long-term storage fees to have your product sitting in Amazon's warehouse. And so you need to be able to plan ahead. A week before that magic day, that last week of June, you're going to be running deals. You're going to be turning on coupons. You're going to be turning on extra traffic. And you're willing to take a smaller margin for liquidating those goods so you don't have to get rid of the products at nothing or give them away or destroy them. So holiday products are hard. And so you have to be pretty sophisticated to do them. And it adds to the risk of doing the product. So we do reduce some points there. Minus 100 if you select that. So at least 6 of the top competitors have 4 or more variations. We saw that to be true. Major brands, and that's a negative. Remember, we have to launch more variations to compete with them. It adds to the cost, the sophistication, the research, the inventory management, the overhead. All of that adds to a negative score. The major brands, at least 5. I don't know if any of these are major brands. I really don't know pets that well. But these sound like made-up names, a lot of them. I don't know if Best Pet sounds like a good name. I don't know if it's sold in stores. But I would say that most of these are not major brands. And typically, major brands are not going to be as good at Amazon. Funny enough, they're going to be good at their branded search, but they're not as good at doing what we're showing you how to do, which is find the SEO and rank for them. And of course, that's changing now that a lot of agencies that manage major brands are using DataDive. We've definitely been helping them towards that extent. I apologize to the private label sellers for doing that, but for the most part, they're still pretty bad and beatable. So less than 3 are sold in retail, I would guess. At least 5 of them, so developed niche. They have bundles or multi-packs. That's not really a thing here. The reason I ask about multi-packs is because if a product is around and everyone's racing to the bottom, typically what they're looking to do is add some form of value. So let's say with this cat tree, they include a cat toy. And then the next guy comes in and in order to disrupt the market, he includes 2 cat toys. And then the next guy comes in and includes a separate scratching post to the tower plus the 2 cat toys or 3 cat toys. So what you'll see is that most of the first page is made up of all these bundles of frequently bought together and value-added items. That's a very mature niche, and you're moving into a product where you're just waiting for the next person to disrupt you. So don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I'm just going to come in and add this one little thing, and then I'm going to win that way. You have to win in all the other ways too. And you probably want to avoid jumping into a product that's going through those cycles with aggressive disruption. So written content, more than 5, I would say that they all have the major keywords. They're doing really well. And then that would wrap up our score. So, I mean, if we were to look at the scorecard here, we've got a score of negative 400. I'm glad that this was accurate because anything below a 0 is kind of a no-go. It's highly, highly, highly risky for many reasons. And the potential here was not fully filled out. Let me see. I'm sorry. It says we did, but oh, it's because it counts these not as filled out. So minus 400. If you get a score between 0 and 500, that's a risky product, right? That's going to be something that's competitive. You're going to have to be on your game, really know how you're disrupting, and you have to be confident that you're building and making a product that will get clicks and sales beyond your competitors by following the methodology that we teach you around designing something unique that people, and testing it with a real audience and making sure that people will click on it more than your competitors. If you do something and you get a scorecard between 500 and 1,000, that's going to be a medium risk product. That's going to be a little bit less risky, somewhere where you can be comfortable really exploring a niche. And then 1,000 and higher, that's a lower risk product to me. That's going to be something where you have a wide open, niche here to really dominate. Maybe there's one good seller, maybe even two, but really the rest of the niche is not good at Amazon. And you've got an opportunity to come in with a lot of different listings, even a lot of variations, really high quality listings and products. The way that we teach you how to do them in seller systems, those are going to be the niches that you really want. Now it's a numbers game, like we talked about. So it is going to be something where you want to do 100 of these scorecards, 100 dives and 100 scorecards. You can quickly eliminate a lot of products like this one for many reasons, but you're going to find that once you do 100, you're going to find a few pretty good ones usually. And those are going to be the ones that you're going to move forward with the design process and with the AI product brief. The last thing I'm going to wrap up on is show you what that looks like when you do run the product brief. So assuming that the product score wasn't terrible, and this isn't a product that I would automatically not do, I would run this product brief and I would get some ideas. So these are all the attributions included in all of these competitor listings. This is what customers say they like from the reviews. So easy to assemble, sturdy. The cat loves it. And then this is what people say they don't like. It's wobbly. So when something is sturdy, they love it. When it's wobbly, they don't. So the build quality really matters here. How tight the posts fit into the platforms and how secured it is when you build it. Super important here. Limited space for larger cats. So really we saw that. A lot of these are not that big, right? So unstable, wobbly, smaller, not enough space for large cats. This is why on a listing, if I were forced to do this product, I would do the smaller size to get clicks. I would do the bigger size, maybe even 3 sizes, where I would bring people in for that $20 price point, hopefully not at a point where I'm losing money, but where we show the different sizes, they come in and then they can upsell themselves on bigger sizes, where we would have, sizes that are suitable for bigger cats. So limited use for bigger cats, not great for larger cats, a lot of issues around size, right? Now, value-added ideas, this is what the AI is telling me. These are the ideas coming from the AI, on how to make this product better. So desired improvements. So address the issue of wobbliness and instability. We saw that. Increase the weight capacity, because some people said it's not suitable for cats over 10 pounds. Use a higher quality fabric that does not shed excessively and is more durable. I guess the cats will scratch the carpet, so you have to have something there that's a little bit more protective. Provide more spacious platforms and condos to cater the needs of larger cats. So, you need sizes here is what I'm hearing. Simplify the assembly process. Oh, so some people didn't include clear instructions or it was a little complicated to make it. So you really want to redo the instructions. Whenever I'm putting together a product that requires assembly, I rewrite those instructions from the ground up, because a lot of times the basic instructions you get from the factory have terrible English written on them. It's not worthy of your brand being put on that product and on those instructions. You want to rewrite them. You want to make sure they are very clear, because people will leave negative reviews just based on that sheet of paper inside the product. The product could be great, but if you include poor instructions, you are tarnishing your brand and potentially getting negative reviews. So ensure that all the parts are included. Yeah, that's important. Do inspections, check the factory work, increase the number of scratching posts. So that's interesting that people really want those. Improve the comfort and usability of the cat tree for larger cats, and enhance the overall quality and feel of the fabric. Again, a fabric issue. So no real like product improvements from like innovation, but mostly just improving sturdiness, quality, size options probably. So some ideas here. But again, this is typical of a product that is already really advanced, really big sellers already selling it, right? I'm not going to be able to do a ton to beat these guys. And so you can clearly see that. So I'm done with this section of really reviewing a product and walking you guys through the scorecard. I want to see if Anthony wants to jump back in to kind of round us out.
I think that is pretty good. I think now I know this product did not do well on validation from the scorecard, but we had a lot of questions in the chat, people saying, well, what's the minimum score to go forward? And I'm sure people are getting scores. Not everything is going to be a negative number. I think now the thing that we have to do and really remind people is you got to move on and also do profits. So this product would probably fail validation for a vast majority of sellers in this group, but I think we should still show and explain how to do profits, see what the budget required to launch this product is, and then maybe a little bonus at the end that I'm working on preparing right now.
All right, sounds good. I wasn't able to source this product in any type of way to make any type of profit, but we can just show how the math works there. It is very, very tight. So I'll jump into the profit section very quickly. Now we do
just to show how to fill it out so they can fill it out on their own, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Now there is a video tutorial that Anthony did that you can watch on this later. That's on the YouTube channel. But you can see right away that it's assuming that we're going to sell at a $68 price point. Most of those top 5 sellers were selling at under $50, right? Very, very, very competitive. Now, let's say that we do one of these smaller products, and to look at the sales velocity, what I'm going to do is I'm typically going to go and look at the velocity of the sellers here. So I'm looking at their sales, and then I'm looking at the share of voice, so the search volume on page 1. And what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to find sellers who are in the 70% range and what they're doing in sales. Because I feel like if I execute my launch well, then I'm going to be able to rank for 60 to 80% of the search volume within the first couple weeks. Now, I'm going to need to push hard to move those from the middle of page 1 to the top of page 1. And I might never get to the top of page 1 for most of the keywords. I might get to 5, 7, top 10, right? But I'm at least able to rank for a lot of this search volume. And so if I look at a guy like this, who's on 70% of the search volume, and a guy like this who's on 76, he has some outlier keywords driving sales. That's why he's got an extra 1,000 sales. I want to go see what those are. But he's not relying on any of those outlier keywords. There are definitely outlier keywords that will help us with this product. I'm very, very sure of it. And so let's say we're going to enter with a smaller niche product like this one. Can we do a better job on this product? So if I sort by relevancy, so I want to bring relevancy up to the top, and I'm looking at this guy here, Made for Pets, right? He's on 70%. You can see here that all of these relevant keywords, he's doing a pretty good job. Cat tower for indoor cats. But he's not inside the top 20 on most of these keywords. Here he's number 9 for a misspelling. I'm going to get rid of this one. So I can remove a keyword from the master keyword list. I don't want misspellings because a lot of times Amazon is going to correct it anyway. So I see a few here. Now, once I go through these keywords and I remove keywords that we can't make sales on, And you're going to see that I'm removing them here. And these were all just one keyword with this misspelling. But if I put a misspelling in, or if I put a brand name, I think that, let me see if I can find a yeah, this is another one. Prime Day cat trees. Oh, that's the spike in the beginning of the spring. That was Prime Day. So people do buy these on Prime Day. That's interesting. So that's why people saw a spike there. Okay. There's even Prime Day keywords. Clearance cat trees. So you see quite a few cat activity trees, kitty towers. Yeah, very interesting. Here's another misspelling. Any brands here? I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know. If I click this, it has 9 keywords that supposedly have a brand in it. FDW. And if I scroll, is FDW one of these? Yep, this guy. So watch what happens. I don't know if this is the only one, but I'm going to remove FDW. And what ends up happening, like if I'm searching a toy and I put Melissa for Melissa and Doug, it goes and finds all of the keywords. And so this one, again, only had one keyword. So I really want to clean this up. But anyway, I really want to understand, can I really compete with these guys that are in the 70% range from an SEO perspective? I really think I can, right? So this is kind of like the guy that I'm going to look at to beat. Made for Pets. And I think I can get 1,800 sales. So let's say I feel like I can do 2,000 sales a month if I'm aggressive and I'm better at SEO, because you could see how many different keywords. Tall cat tree, not indexed. Now this one's not that tall, but if we had a variation, we would be able to bring that traffic in. So cat towers on sale, prime clearance. That's interesting. And here, cat tree, large cats. So we definitely need one with scratching posts, one for large cats. And so the strategy would be that my variations would funnel this traffic in. I would have a larger size I would target all the large cat keywords, right? And then I would have one with extra scratching posts, and I would target those. And my goal would be that I would be able to rank for all this additional search volume with specific variations that people are looking for. Because once I get that click, they're more likely to convert if the variation matches what they're searching. A lot of people make the mistake of just writing the same title for all of their variations. And what you're doing is you're missing out on the opportunity to rank and establish relevancy and rank for many different routes. And so this is a big part of what we teach you how to do. Now, if I go back over here to the profits tool, I am going to say that I can sell 2,000 units per month. Let's say that we need 3 weeks for the factory to make the product. And my target tacos is going to be fairly expensive because I've got a lot of ads I need to run to establish myself, and it's very competitive. So let's say that I have like a 17%. This means that for every $100 in revenue, I'm spending 17 on ads. It's very high, but this eats a big part of your margin. So this is your margin that goes to ads, basically. So now I'm seeing that if in order to do this product, I need to order in my first order over 7,000 units in my first order. Now I can go in and I can design this product with different fulfillment fees. Look at this fulfillment fee. Amazon is going to charge me $22 every single time that I want to fulfill it. And if I were to reduce some of these sides, let's say I make this standard, because I can use maybe some kind of section where the wood sticks together and it has a hinge. So let's say I add hinges and I can bring this down to standard size, 18 by 14 by 9. So let's say I bring it down to 18 by or 17 by 13 by 8.5. Let's say that the box weighs, 18 pounds. Product type is standard, no batteries. All right. I brought my fees down to $17. So I only saved $5 because it's based on the product box weight. It's a heavy product. If I can use lighter materials and bring it down to $14.79, it's going to be in the $15 price tier. Shipping weight is here. Now, what ends up happening with Amazon is that if you have a product, you have what's called a dimensional weight, and then you have the actual weight of the product. Amazon is going to charge you fulfillment on whichever one is higher. So if this was a very light product, 4 pounds, but my fulfillment dimensional weight was 12 pounds, I'm going to pay the 12-pound fulfillment fee. And I can show you that by reducing this to $2. And this is still a 13-pound dimensional weight. So I'm still paying $15. So sometimes optimizing for physical weight doesn't make sense, but sometimes it does. And you really need to know what that dynamic is. So I can afford to have a 13.5-pound actual product, and I'm not going to pay anything more. So I might as well ship a higher quality product, right? Now, if I'm going to sell this product that I pay $15 for in fulfillment, and I come down here and I say that I can order this product for $8. I have custom duty of 6.5%. I don't know what the actual duties are for this product, but you need to do some research here. You can have anything anywhere from 0 to 40% on tariffs on your cost per unit. So we're at 6.5. I don't know what it's truly going to be. And you can see here that if I ship this by air, I'm losing money with these numbers. But if I do ocean, LCL, or full container load to Amazon through a 3PL, I'm making 98 cents. But if I go direct to Amazon, I'm making $1.37. Now, this is after advertising. This is after, my storage fees. This is literally my net is $1.37 per unit. So that's way too low to qualify to be able to sell it at this price. But if I sold it for $59, now I'm making $8 per unit, and I'm still only making 13% margin after ads, storage fees, all is said and done. So that's not a lot here, right? And I reduced the cost, I reduced everything. So the most important thing that you need to know is that there are a lot of fees associated with doing Amazon. There are storage fees. There are costs to get the product from the factory to the port. There are costs to get the product from the port in LA or wherever you land it to Amazon's warehouse. Sometimes you bounce it off of a third-party logistics partner, and then they're going to charge you to receive the goods. They're going to charge you to put the goods on pallets. They're going to charge you to store, and then they're going to charge you to label and get it back into Amazon on a truck, and you have to pay for that truck. So you have a lot of additional costs here that you wouldn't necessarily have if you just got the product to yourself and shipped it yourself. But then again, you're not getting Prime, you're not getting the badge, you're not getting the traffic and conversions that you do by going through Amazon. So you wouldn't be able to basically maintain your ranks. So I highly recommend that you spend some time with the profits calculator when you're looking, just to get a final validation that I'm going to be able to potentially do this product and make a nice margin. This is a very complicated calculator. We do have a more simple version coming out. Again, you can watch the video tutorial where Anthony will go into more detail on it as well.
I think that was super in-depth. I think everyone should be able to follow that process for filling out the scorecard and profits on their own. Again, I do want to just say, don't be discouraged if your product ideas are failing. It's saving you time and money when you come across an idea. Like if you would go try to launch this cat tower, I don't want to say it's going to be impossible, but it would be very, very difficult. I think we're going to wrap up soon, but Brandon, is it okay if I show something I've just been kind of working on in the background for a minute and give people a little bit of inspiration to keep digging?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, before we get all the way to the end and we lose everybody, we are offering a special to get into the inner circle, and we are offering a trial into Data Dive, are we not?
We are. Yep. I'm just going to pull up the slides.
Do you want to show those specials before we jump into the last section?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Let me just go here. Okay. So I don't think we have a code up here on the screen, but you want to walk through what the discount that we're offering on Inner Circle, walk through some of the incentives. What do we have here?
We are not offering as many discounts for the Inner Circle as we used to, and we don't want to condition people for it. And this is a very, very limited offer. We are offering, because of Co-Create and because of this call here, $1,000 off the Inner Circle price. You would be using the code CoCreate1000. And I know a lot of you guys found us during Alibaba's Co-Create. You're considering selling, you're newer at selling. We have a lot of Inner Circle members that are probably here reinforcing things that they might already know from other courses and classes. But it's always good to go back to the basics, because like I said, this process is something that we always need to continuously go through. The evaluation process, you should always be designing new products and launching them. It's how you grow your business. It's the number one lever to gain revenue in this business, because you're going to have products that fail. You're going to have products that die. You have products that have a lifetime value. So you need to understand at a very high level how to evaluate product opportunities, how to launch products that are more likely to win. And so you got to go back to the basics. Now, if you do join us, we have weekly calls to ask any questions called office hours. So every single week, you'll be able to ask questions and get answers directly in a group setting. We also have 3 to 5 additional classes per month that is live. And then we do in-person workshops where you will get, if it's not free for you, it's going to be very, very cheap. For example, a $500 workshop might be $100. It basically covers for your lunch and in the room and everything like that. We also have the group with over 1,000 members. And of those members, over 400 are already doing over $1 million. So when you ask a question, you are going to get a lot of answers right away, because we teach that abundance mentality, but also because so many of those members have already figured that stuff out. They've had to go through and walk the same process you are. So it's about surrounding yourself with other successful people who are trying to improve their lives and build multi-million-dollar businesses. And it's crazy to say, but since we formed Seller Systems in 2018, we have personally helped hundreds of people become millionaires. So it is pretty awesome that we have seen people go from zero to building businesses worth millions of dollars, and many of them have sold those businesses for 7 figures or more. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and so the last thing I'll say is that code is going to expire in the next 7 days. So it is the 10th. On the 17th, that code will expire. If you have any questions beyond that, Marlene just posted it there. But sellersystems.com/inner circle. There's a QR code that was there a minute ago. Here are all the things that are included. And then tell us about the Data Dive trial that comes with that, or that you have going on separately. And now you do get a 33% discount on Data Dive as an Inner Circle member, so that helps quite a bit as well. But tell us more about the Data Dive side of it, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone's looking in the chat right now, there's just a couple of Inner Circle members that are on this call. I presume most of the people that are watching the replay and are on the live call are not in Inner Circle yet. I'd say most of our members know this product validation pretty well, but you can see in the chat people saying that they absolutely love it. Andy's saying he's been a member for 3 years. It's non-negotiable. Carly's saying she couldn't agree more with Andy. Afin saying he's been an Inner Circle member for a while. It's worth every penny you're going to pay. Please do sign up if you can. There's a bunch of value that you can get. So if you like this style of content, we literally have hundreds of hours of content inside of the masterclass, all these different modules. We are redoing all of our content. I'm going to give a little bit of a sneak peek on some of the product discovery. Pretty much everyone after this call there's someone from the Inner Circle that's going to reach out to you just to say, hey, what's up? I'm a seller. I've been in Inner Circle for a while. This is how it's helped me. And they'll offer to get on a call, answer any questions. You're going to see those emails go out over the next couple of days. Like, these are not just sales reps. These are people that have paid on their own to join Inner Circle. Many of them have been member for years. They love the product. They love the community. And they're just super stoked about getting on calls with potential members. So if you're interested in booking a call, you don't scan this QR code, it's okay, because you're going to get an email follow-up and they'll be reaching out to you directly. But what Brandon's mentioning here is we actually have, this is new as of a few months ago. If the price point, if you're like, look, I just can't do this right now. I can't put out the cash to buy a full annual membership. There is an option to basically bundle Data Dive and Seller Systems together where you can pay monthly. And I think it comes out to just under $400 a month. And that's a great way to get started using the tool. You get a Data Dive subscription included. You get a discount on the membership. It's a discount on the Inner Circle plan. And so there'll also be team members that are reaching out. You can scan this QR code. I think it goes to help you book a call. But someone was asking in the chat, it looks like Rosie already signed up for the bundle, received the user pass to Seller Systems. Is it the same user pass for Data Dive and Seller Systems? So it all is one program. If there's any more questions, I think Marlene, she manages our entire community with Seller Systems. I think she'd be happy to answer any questions, but for all intents and purposes, it is the same. You're just paying monthly versus annual. It's going to be a bit cheaper. If you have the cash and you're committed to this, if you think this webinar was good today, then consider just signing up for the annual plan and you'll save a little bit of cash there in the long run.
Yeah, so Marlene is in the producer ear, and she's reminding us that we have a PPC masterclass coming up in the next 2 weeks. We are going to go very deep into the details of advertising. We've been writing some pretty advanced algorithms for the triangulation of data points and what they could mean for how you optimize your ads. Ads are very hard, but you have a lot of different data points. And the mistake most sellers make is that they will only look at the ACoS. So your advertising cost of sales for that one campaign on one keyword. They don't look at organic ranks. They don't look at what that entire route is doing. They don't look at whether you're indexed. They don't look at your impression rank, your conversion rates, and other factors that you need to take into consideration to know whether that ad is truly effective at growing your business and increasing your total profit dollars. So we're going to go deep into this masterclass in the next couple weeks. That's a class you cannot miss. Now, it's free for Inner Circle members. We are going to have a huge discount. I think it will be a huge discount for Data Dive users as well. We like to take care of the Data Dive users who are not in the Inner Circle. And if you're already selling or about to launch, this is a must-attend class. That's right, and we are officially over our 6,000th paid user for Data Dive. That's a really big deal. So I am giving this class away to Data Dive users. So it will be free for Data Dive users and Inner Circle members. And it's a way of us celebrating the fact that Data Dive has grown to over 6,000 paid sellers.
Heck yeah. Cool. Okay, so for anyone who's still here at the end, I just want to go and give some other, a little bit of a teaser into some of the other things we teach inside of Inner Circle. And let's just assume for a minute, I know that this Cat Tower, it failed product validation. It was a super expensive budget required to launch. But let's just imagine for a minute that, see, I'm going to go over here. Let's just imagine for a minute that we were part of a brand that does millions of dollars a year, and actually the risk level for this product is something that they're okay with. The budget required to launch is something that they're okay with. And so if I'm looking here, you can see that the total available market for this Cat Tower, I mean, it's huge. And so the question is, like, if let's say you did find a product that passed validation, or we're in this hypothetical scenario where you accepted the risks, you accepted the budget required to launch, and you still wanted to proceed because you're like, you know what? I don't think anyone in that market is really doing that well. I think I can come up with a better product, and I want to launch and try to capture some portion of this, like almost $4 million of monthly revenue. What would that look like? And so while Brandon was going through the product scorecard and profits, I took a look at the AI product brief and was spending some time looking at the value-added ideas, like ways to improve the product, as well as the like what customers like and what they dislike about the product. And so this is not the purpose of the masterclass. This is kind of just an added bonus, but I spent a little bit of time in Midjourney using some AI generation and see if I could come up with some alternate ideas to the cat trees and cat towers that were currently on the market. And so I was playing around with some different combinations of prompts to use for developing these products, starting off with pretty simple, like cat tower with hammock, and then cat tree, cat hammock that cats love. And then I start to get into some of the things that customers disliked about the product, that it was wobbly, that it wasn't sturdy, and saying, hey, I want something for larger cats with a very strong base, high quality materials. This is all straight from the AI product brief. And this is probably about like 10, 15 minutes of work. You can see it's coming up with all of these different designs, some that have like very, very large bases. These would be huge products, maybe more expensive than what's currently on the market. And then when I found some designs and some ideas and concepts that I liked, I would upscale those variations. So we got like this one, which is very large. It's got this kind of like wooden hammock. I don't know what this would look like from a logistical standpoint. Certainly very different from anything that's currently on the market. This one, which has a much wider base, this one with multiple towers on it. And so basically I upscaled the designs that I liked. And then what I did is I went over here into PickFu. Now there's a bunch of different options to do this. And we didn't really show this slide in the presentation, but this is for answering that section in product potential. We just said we did not answer for today, but the thought is if a product did pass validation, you would run the AI product brief, get ideas for improving the product. And then when you come up with a new design, something that's different, you would go run this through something like PickFu, IntelliV, or Product Pinion, all very similar versions of tools that let you split test off of Amazon. And so basically what I did is I took the designs that I had created in AI, and then I ran these through PickFu, and you can see I basically put in like, which design of the cat tower do you prefer? And then I added in some additional context saying that the info from our AI product brief said this is what the customers like, this is what the customers dislike, and these are ways that the customers would like to see the product be improved. I chose my audience as Amazon Prime subscribers and cat owners. So these are people who actually own cats. And I ran this today. Like, this was literally done half an hour ago while we were going through the product scorecard and profits. So we got 30 answers in 26 minutes. And we found that these were our top 2 winners here. So this really kind of the big arc here, and then the multiple tower cat tree. These were my 1 and 2 positions. I'm not going to spend time going through each of these responses, but you can see that many people have given responses. I can look at the AI highlights, which consolidates the 30 responses that we got from each of these people. And then this one isn't quite done yet. You can see we still have some more responses that are loading. And so what I did is I took the top 3 sellers currently of the product and I benchmarked it against my top 2 current designs. And you can see here, option E, again, this is a 15-person poll, so it's not quite finished yet. We have 12 out of 15 that have responded. And it looks like this new option here does show some potential. I think this one would probably be a logistical nightmare to ship this thing just from the dimensional weight being so large. So I'm kind of glad this one didn't do well. But it looks like here we're actually getting a pretty good proportion of the responses. So could this go and actually beat the other competitors in this niche? That would remain to be seen, right? But could someone upend this very competitive, very difficult category? Well, if you had the appropriate budget to required to launch, right? If you had some pretty deep pockets in this case, and you could spend some time actually coming up with a brand new design, something that stands out from the same thing over and over and over again, could you take advantage of the almost $4 million of monthly sales that this product is seeing? It's possible, right? We see it all the time where brands come into very competitive categories and do extremely, extremely well. So this is not the purpose of this workshop. That's just a little bonus of some of the other things that we cover. Next logical step for the products that pass validation would be product design, development, sourcing. These are all things that are covered inside of Inner Circle. And then our whole procedure for launch, which is super essential, also covered in Inner Circle. So I just wanted to throw that in there as a cool little bonus. And that's all I've got.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have an entire AI masterclass that we just did a couple weeks ago where we go through how to prompt and design with Midjourney, really how we go through AI product design. I love the extra value you just threw in here at the end. The amount of, knowledge required to be successful on Amazon is incredibly high, right? There are multiple learning curves. I like to say that there are multiple college level degrees that you need in order to be successful in this business. Can anyone get lucky, just buy some stuff, throw it on Amazon and run some auto ads and yeah, maybe a single digit percentage of the time. But 98% of the time, you're lighting your money on fire if you do it that way. You have to learn how to look at data, how to look at keywords, how to evaluate products, how to understand how many units to order, how the algorithm works. Then sourcing, logistics, content, design, getting it here and positioning your product with the right graphics so that you're getting more clicks, that you're doing your branding in a way to emphasize the value your product provides because you've done that research and you're delivering it. And then running ads so that you're ranking the product on the right keywords, that you wrote your listing the right way to rank on the right keywords. And so we teach you all of that within Seller Systems, within the Inner Circle. And the great part is we have a whole community of successful sellers that you can join in order to do it as well. Anthony, phenomenal job with the presentation today. I do want to open it up to just a few questions. We're already, a couple hours in, going on almost going on almost 3 hours. And so we do want to be mindful of time here. If you do have additional questions, feel free to reach out through one of the links that you found. We do the weekly office hours, so join the Inner Circle, get all the extra help, don't pay money. A lot of people ask me on a regular basis, do I charge some one-on-one time? I really, really prefer not to do that. My time is very valuable, very expensive. I would rather you join the Inner Circle and then show up on Mondays and ask as many questions as you want that way. It's included in the cost, and you get all the extra value as well. So looking forward to seeing everybody. If there's any low-hanging fruit questions, Marlene, that you want to put on the screen, we can answer a few different questions for either myself or for Anthony.
So a handful of people asking about recording. Yes, this is being recorded. We're going to send this out usually within a couple of days, usually 72 hours at the max after the call is recorded. You'll also get a post follow-up email and, with like the links to the Data Dive trial and the video recording. There's probably also going to be members of our team that are going to reach out to you, offering some extra assistance as well. Michelle is asking a question, was doing a data dive today and every single seller was from China, is that a non-starter? The answer to that is not necessarily. It might be something that we want to look at. We're going to cover some of those things when we start analyzing the product. I know for a fact, having done this cat tower, there's going to be a lot of Chinese sellers, but there's also a lot of American sellers that are doing very well. We're a question here about already paying for data dive. I'm stoked that you're excited and starting to use it right away. So I think Brandon's already responded to your question. Michelle's asking, really want to build a brand with similar products, not sell a lot of different products. How can I find that? Find a group of similar products. We're gonna cover a little bit of that today and how you can kind of go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole to find additional product ideas. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Marlene. Let's see here. There was a couple questions about the co-create code not working. I just checked it in a private browser. It definitely does work. It works on the starter plan. You do have to sign into a Google account first. So if you have any other technical questions, let me know here. We don't have profit analysis from other countries like India, from what I understand. I think it just worked in the US for right now. Might change in the future. Michelle, I'm not sure if we're going to cover import tariffs related to like if Trump gets elected. I think it doesn't really matter if Trump gets elected because those import tariffs have not gone away. But I think Brandon might cover that a little bit. And then I think this might be. Do you get to a point in Data Dive where you can just look at the overview and know that it's too competitive? We'll cover that. You can definitely probably save yourself some time. The more and more you do this, you'll just learn how to look and be like, a no-go. But when you're starting out, I would go through this whole process just for working the motions. It's like working out, exercising. The more that you do it, the better you're going to get. You don't want to take the quick route out.
And do you have any closing thoughts, Anthony?
Not too much. I'm excited to see everyone inside. And if you felt like this is going through the validation process, you have a few extra products that you can do inside of your free trial, your starter subscription. Someone from the team will likely reach out and offer any additional help. But if you feel like going through this process isn't super tedious and you're like, oh, this is awful, this is terrible. If you're like, it's actually kind of fun. I can see myself going through dozens and dozens of products. That's an indicator that you're a good fit, for doing this type of business. And for anyone that looks to get started in that, I'm super excited. I love seeing the success stories, but I also love seeing the people that try to launch products. They fail, they're inside of the group, like, what the heck am I supposed to do here? And then through the support, through the community, they're able to ultimately make it work. And the people who are persistent and hustle are the people who are going to win. And I can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, right? We've seen it many, many times. Now, we've launched over 1,000 products on Amazon at this point. We've got over 500 products that are live currently. And about half the time, we don't reorder the product. About 20% of the time, we don't make money on the product. So even with being as good as we are at Amazon with data analysis, with product development, doesn't work sometimes. So this is a business that requires tenacity, and it's a numbers game. The more you do it, the better you get. But it's extremely rewarding. So I love the fact that you call out, the fact that it doesn't work for everyone. Not only that, I think that if you watch this and you were lost, and you're like, I don't really understand what's going on, watch it again. But if you're still kind of lost, maybe this business isn't right for you. Don't join the inner circle unless you're going to actually do something with the education and the community that comes along with it. I don't need your money. I don't want you just to pay me for nothing. I want you to pay me so I can help you build a multi-million-dollar business. So I'll leave it at that. And it looks like we've kind of answered all the questions throughout the class. And you've got all the resources you need to reach out to us. We are extremely accessible, either through the Data Dive team or through the Seller Systems team. But feel free to reach out, add us on LinkedIn, on Messenger, join, message us by email. But we're here for you. Thanks for joining today. Anthony, again, amazing job with the slides presentation. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Everyone, see you later. Thank you so much, Brandon.